Welcome to episode 7 of the Ghetto Mantras podcast. My name is Gevonchai, and I am your host here at the Ghetto Mantras podcast. The mantras might not be that ghetto, but most of the time I am. So here we are, episode 7, y'all. That's 7 weeks of episodes. Let's get another. Today I want to talk about grief. I think I'm going to end up making like this topic like a part 1, part 2, part 3. Like as long as I got this podcast, we're going to talk about grief. And today I want to talk about what grief teaches you. This is a conversation I was having with one of my friends. And I don't know if she asked a question or if we heard it somewhere. So I want to give her credit because I didn't come up with that. But it is something that I want to talk about. What does grief teach you? So I want to talk about the first lesson that grief taught me. And then I want to talk about the most recent lesson that grief taught me. So the first lesson that grief ever taught me that was that no time with the people you love will ever be enough. I had just moved to Milwaukee in 2018. 2 months after I moved here, my grandmother passed away. And I was pissed. I was mad because she didn't want me to move here. She was like, I don't want you to be isolated. I don't want you to be by yourself. And I was like, man, that's what she said to me. And she died 2 months later. And so, I'm thinking about all of the things that I coulda, shoulda, coulda, woulda. I'm thinking about everything. She was 87, by the way. So my 87-year-old best friend, right? She was ready to go on to glory. She was tired. She had enough. She was born in 1931. She was tired. Nonetheless, the grief I had around her passing and what I learned from that was like, no matter if I had another 20 years with my grandma, it was not going to be enough for me because that's what the grief and that's what the love teaches you, right? And so that's the very first lesson I learned about grief. So the second lesson I'm learning about grief is it's around not having a daughter. So if you have been here, I have 3 kids. I have 3 amazing boys. I love my boys so much. They are all very spaced out in age. And the last one got here because it was an intentional decision to have him. And I did not understand okay, let me back this up. My husband wanted a 3rd kid. I wasn't sold because I wasn't around my village. And he was like really adamant about it. And we fought about it for 2 years before we finally made a decision. And when I say this little boy, my little Langston has been the light of my life. And I was so happy to have this baby. Like I was so happy. I remember as I was like in labor with him, I'm thinking about some words that Mother Brown, as we call her, mother, she said to me, just Shay, it's hard today, but it won't be hard tomorrow. I'm singing my Jonathan McReynolds, God is Good. That's one of my favorite songs. Like that's my song I attach to my Langston is, may your bad days prove that God is good. Like I just want everybody to know how happy I am to have this baby, but I still found myself grieved about I don't have a daughter and I'm not trying again. Like that's it. I got 3 kids. That's a lot already. Like I'm done, right? But I'm like, why am I grieved? Like I was so filled with joy to have this baby. Why am I grieving? So I'm unpacking the grief and I finally get to the point and I say, oh, I know why I'm mad I didn't have a daughter or I'm grieving it. It's because I thought, and this is a lot of pressure on my children. I thought that I was going to get to reparent myself through having a daughter. I thought that like, oh, I can do this. If I have a daughter, like everything my mama did wrong with me, I can fix it. And some would say, well, you got 3 sons, like fix it that way. It's something different about that mother to daughter dynamic that I can't have with my sons. And I really thought like one thing that my mama, listen, and shout out to my mama, y'all. I love my mom. Me and her are super locked in, but she gonna be mad, but I'm gonna tell the story anyway. My mama just was not a like mother for daughters. She was like a for real boy mom. And then she had me. So like my hair wasn't in the newest styles. You know what I'm saying? So that used to piss me off when I was a kid. Or just, my mom, she was older too. So like I didn't have a brand new this or that. Or when my friends was getting name belts, I wasn't getting one. And I used to have a lot of like, me and my mom used to butt heads because she is a strong woman, and she raised me to be a strong woman. So we used to butt heads, bad, 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 bad. And I used to tell her all the time, like, when I have kids, I never treat my kids like you treat me. And when I have kids, I'm putting you in a nursing home, and I'm gonna do 2 pigtails on your head because you never want to do my hair, right? And I would never do her like that. Like, I have cashed out on her wigs and all of this stuff now that I'm older and I got more grace. But I really, like, my grief around having a daughter was the fact that I am not going to get to reparent myself. And I feel like God was telling me, like, oh no, babe, you gonna have to do the work. You can't rely on your kids to hold that emotional pressure for you. You have to heal yourself. And I stopped grieving. As soon as I realized why I wanted a daughter, I didn't hold that grief anymore, because I'm like, oh, like, I wanted a chance to reparent myself. And I still kind of want that chance, but I don't want to put that pressure on my child. So I know that that's work that I'm still like dealing with and still needing to do. I'm first so thankful that I get the opportunity to just be better, just to be a better person. Like, I'm so happy that I get the opportunity before I damage anybody to understand, like, why I grieved having a daughter. And I think grief, if you let it, it'll teach you so much about what parts of you still need more healing, what parts of you need more attention. Like, grief will teach you if you let it. So those are the 2 lessons I learned about grief. You know who I have here with me: Don from Hustle Responsibly and Keys from Voss Visuals. And I'm going to open up the floor to see if they have any lessons about what has grief taught them, or have they even thought about grief in that way of being able to teach them something. So, Don.
Yeah, I think you kind of hit it on the head for me too. Is the ability to pull like a learning opportunity from it. I think one of the things that as we grow older, we understand that there's no such thing as like a flawless life, right?
Man, no.
And so life will life. I'm not gonna say it's gonna let you down, but it will humble you. I think that's a
Man.
safer way to say it. And so whether that is the loss of a loved one, the loss of a friendship, the loss of a relationship, missing out on that job that you really wanted, not getting into the university that you had your mindset on, you know, there's something that's going to happen that's going to create a sadness, you
Yeah.
know, and that's natural, right? And what can you pull out of it to learn from it, right? What about that missed job opportunity that you know, the next opportunity that comes, right? Are you going to, reach back into that experience, that grief experience, and say, oh, I can better prepare myself. Not that I didn't prepare, but I can better prepare. The loss of a loved one is like, oh, I need to cherish the time that I do have with folks. I need to be more present.
Yep.
Especially, like the age where we at now.
It's going to start happening more.
Yeah, because, obviously, we've balanced like establishing our professional careers, but also establishing families. And how do you balance both when you have both?
Yeah.
There's recitals that you may miss. There's work outings that you may miss, right? And so learning to balance, learning how to prioritize the things that you need to prioritize, learning your own capacity, whether it's like your output capacity or your emotional capacity. I think there's a ton of positive things that come from it, because emotion, it's a spectrum, right?
Yeah.
Like you're not going to know what happiness feels like if you don't know what sadness feels like, or if you don't know what grief feels like, and vice versa, right? And so like the peaks and valleys that come with grief, or highs and lows, like I look at it, it's all the same. Like you could have easily swapped this out with, what does happiness teach us? And I think the response would be the same for me. And so I just think, just being able to look at it as a learning opportunity. It's not always like luck that something went your way, or it's not the opposite of luck that it didn't go your way, right? I just think that
it just happens.
yeah,
Life happens.
yeah, yeah. And how you gonna move forward, right?
How? Okay, yeah. And how am I move forward? I'm not having a daughter.
So you done with 3 kids?
I'm done. Yeah. I don't have it in me. I'm done. I don't want all them kids.
I feel like 3 is the man. I feel like that's the good number, the perfect balance. If you ask me.
Yeah. So look, as I'm closing us out, let me tell y'all this little funny bit. I was at work and this lady called me and she was like, "Oh, I remember seeing you come visit us when you were 9 months pregnant." I was like, "Yeah." She was like, "Oh, what did you have?" I said, "I had a boy." Because, I don't find out the gender for my kids. Well, the first one I did, but the last two I didn't. And she was like, "Another boy?" She said, "You are a mother of boys. You are a powerful warrior." And that had me on the floor. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I am a mother of boys. Yeah, I am a powerful, I get the opportunity to raise great men, great human beings. Are you kidding me? I'm so proud of that. So I say all of that to say, tap in with me today and think about the grief in your life and what it has taught you, and what parts of you need more attention, what parts of you need more love, what parts of you need more care. That's really what the purpose of this episode is for, is understand what grief is teaching you. So I'm going to close this out. Make sure you visit ghettomantras.com. First thing you can do is make sure you sign up for the newsletter just in case TikTok go down again, just in case any social media goes down. Sign up for the newsletter so we can always stay in contact. Number 2, help me keep up this podcast by ordering your merch. This is our Ghetto Mantras Combating Shame tee. It has all kind of mantras and affirmations on the back. But I'm messing up the mic. Oh, Lord. I'm messing up the mic. Look, why would I even try to show that? It's just not happening. Visit the site. Matter of fact, Keys, put it right there. Ding, 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 ding. A picture of the back of the crew neck. And then for my 92 percenters, I didn't say this the last episode, but if you are in that 92%, I made a crew neck just for you. It says, sometimes you got to keep the love and light to yourself. That's to my 92 percenters. Okay. And it is Valentine's month. And so make sure you go get that. And that's it. I'm closing us out. Have a good day, everybody. See y'all next time.